What's up, guys? Hey, it's Clint Coons here, and in this video, I'm going to teach you a strategy that if you're a real estate investor, you got to have this land trust strategy in your back pocket because it's going to help you get properties moved in the future. And if you don't know it, you're going to be paying excess deed fees, blowing your anonymity, and a whole host of other problems can possibly come up if you're not aware of how to use a land trust in this very effective strategy when dealing with real estate. So what is it that I'm talking about when it comes to using a land trust? And I'm telling you, you need to know this. Well, it comes down to moving property. What I'm referring to is that I see this all the time. I'll have a real estate investor that will approach me, and they've got a limited liability company they've set up. So they've set up this LLC right here, and they have some real estate inside of it. Let's say they have 3 properties. And what they desire to do is take those 3 properties out of that LLC, and they want to separate them out and set up some new limited liability companies over here and separate out that liability. Because if they leave the properties in here, I know this red's not coming across too well, so I'm going to just go back to black. If they leave these properties in here and something goes wrong, well, if you get hit there, then all of them are at risk. So what they want to do is move the properties from here into a new structure. Typically that structure is going to have a Wyoming LLC down here, something that we always like to talk about. So all those boxes are owned by this Wyoming LLC. And the question is, how do we move them? Well, I'll show you what you don't want to do. First off, you never want to do this. You never want to deed your properties directly from existing LLC, maybe it's got some problems, or you just want to shut it down, or whatever the reason is, from here over to here, because that's a paper trail. And people would see that you moved it from here to here, and they're going to know possibly that you were involved in that. Number 2, where this issue can come up that can really hurt you, is that when moving properties from one LLC to another, it could trigger a taxable event for you depending on the state in which these properties are located. Meaning it could reassess your taxes, it could just cause you a transfer tax. So we don't want to jeopardize that. So the second strategy is to do this. Take the properties out, deed them to myself individually, put them in my name. That's typically a non-taxable event. And then I will turn around and deed them up to the individual LLCs. Again, that's typically a non-taxable event. What's the problem with that move? Well, the problem in using that is that when you transfer the property yourself, that's one deed. And then there's a second deed that gets sent up to this entity over here. So there's 2 deeds that get recorded. So that's two filing fees you have to pay. And on top of that, you put yourself back in the chain of title. And it doesn't really help for anonymity if we can see all of this. And I don't want people to know that I'm associated with these properties because, I mean, let's just face it, I don't want people knowing my business. So what is the solution? Well, the solution that we use here at Anderson for clients who are in this situation is we like to use a land trust. It's a great tool when it comes to working with people who have LLCs that have existing properties. It's so simple that I'm surprised more people don't use this. And what does that mean? What it means is this. You're going to create 3 land trusts right up here. And you're going to set them up with anonymity, of course, so that no one knows that you own these trusts. And then you're going to take the properties and you're going to move the properties via a deed into the land trust. So this LLC is actually going to deed the properties into the trust name. So you'll see on title that the properties were formerly held here in GR LLC, and now they're held up here by F&B LLC, Turtle Dove LLC, Green Frog Land Trust. So you move the properties from the LLCs into 3 separate trusts. So that's one deed you have to file. So eliminate this issue here. I just saved on a deed filing. Second benefit, never hit my name. So again, we solve this problem. You're not going to be in the chain of title at all because it's going directly into the land trust. So this issue, no longer an issue because I moved it right up. Now, the other benefit that comes from this type of strategy planning is that transfer tax issue we were talking about, where if you move the properties directly into here, they'd hit you with a reassessment. When you move from this entity into a land trust, there is no reassessment. There is no transfer tax to put it into the trust. So now we've eliminated any types of fees or taxes that would hit us by putting these properties in the trust. I hope you're gathering right now how beneficial this trust is, the land trust is, when it comes to being a real estate investor. We like to set up these trusts for our real estate clients in many situations because it solves so many problems that people aren't aware of. They're told, oh, you can't do this or it's going to result in that. Many times if you're working with someone who's knowledgeable, who understands land trusts, they're going to find a way to do it. Okay, so I've got my properties in these land trusts, and guess what? Who is the beneficiary of these trusts right now? It's this LLC. This LLC is no longer holding property. This old LLC is holding the beneficial interest in 3 trusts at this point in time. Now, I'm going to take these beneficial interests. So here's the thing about land trusts. If you haven't watched my other videos yet, you better watch them on land trusts. It's really important. But if you have and you remember what I told you about a land trust, is that a land trust has a beneficial interest that can be assigned. That means transferred. And so when you transfer the beneficial interest of a land trust, it's not recorded anywhere. No one knows where that trust goes. So you can just move it over here, you move it over there. There's no record of it. The only record of a property in a land trust's existence is when that property is originally deeded into the trust and that trust shows up on title. Other than that, the trust, since the trust isn't recorded, no one has any idea what's going on with that trust. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put myself back into the picture here. I already erased myself. I've got this LLC. I'm going to transfer the land trust, the beneficial interest, to myself. Guys, that's one piece of paper. It is so simple. You say, what was it, F&G or GR LLC hereby transfers Green Frog Trust to Clint Coons individually. Sign the document. Now, what I've done is I've taken this LLC out of the picture. The LLC is no longer involved with these trusts. All these trusts point to me as the beneficiary. And this is private. No one knows about this because that document doesn't get filed anywhere. You keep it in your files. Now, once you put them in your name, I bet you can guess where they're going next. Now, you're going to turn around and assign them over here to these LLCs that you've set up to get the protection. So this trust will go into this LLC. This trust will be assigned to this LLC. This trust will be assigned over here to this limited liability company. And again, one document from me personally over to that limited liability company. So again, that's a private document as well. So essentially what happens, let me just show you visually what you're going to have here when all this is said and done, is you're going to have 3 LLCs like this. Here's my LLC. And then I'm going to have a land trust right here that it owns, and that's going to own a piece of property. So you got 3 exact same structures just like this as follows. And if anything goes wrong with any of them, then you only risk that one limited liability company right then and there. So land trusts, there's so many different uses. I plan to cut a few more videos I'm going to be sharing with you on different ways you can use this tool to help you get deals done. I mean, I've had some people, when they're first starting out, they wonder, should they use a land trust? And I'll tell them, hey, if you're first getting started, yeah, this could be the way for you to start protecting your real estate. In fact, I'm going to cut a video on that. When you're first getting started in real estate investing, what are some of the things you should consider? This is going to be on the top of my list. Hey, if you want to set up a strategy session and talk to someone in our firm about creating a structure like this, if you've got trapped real estate, or maybe you're looking to move real estate and you want to avoid paying a transfer tax or having it reassessed, going into an LLC, be sure to go to the show notes. I've got a link down there that you can click on that will set you up a free strategy session, and we can walk through this with you. If you liked the video, be sure to smash that like button. If you're not yet a subscriber, well, now's your time to become a subscriber to my channel, and you'll get updates whenever I release new content. Take care.